And we're back.
Hello, my friend. Welcome to the channel. Today is October 14th, and our topic today is Don't Get Mad, Help. Marcus Aurelius says, "Are you angry when someone's armpits stink or when their breath is bad? What would be the point? Having such a mouth and such armpits, there's going to be a smell emanating. You say, they must have sense, can't they tell how they are offending others? Well, you have sense too, congratulations. So use your natural reason to awaken theirs, show them, call it out. If the person will listen, you will have cured them without useless anger. No drama, nor unseemly show required."
Yeah, like ultimately call it out. If you see it, call it out. Don't just kind of assume that others see what you see, right? And yeah, if people have, if I have a bad breath, I would want people to tell me, or my friends or somebody, right? Because
Well, it's
hey, dude, it helps me, right? It's, even though I get it, it's uncomfortable to tell somebody that their breath is not good or something, So it's like,
and he's bringing up these examples because he's saying, don't get mad, don't get angry. So it's almost like he's saying, letting yourself get angry means that you've overlooked that point where you could call something out in a helpful way. It's like, okay, let me back up and try to peel back from my anger for a moment to be like, what is the thing I need to call out here?
Right, because that anger is being triggered based on that thing that's not being called out. So you becoming angry, you must also know what that thing is that's angering you, right? So if somebody's armpits smell on the bus, you're like, oh, Jesus Christ, this is stupid, right? Like you get annoyed, but annoyed about what? Well, about the armpits. So if you know that, then don't go into the anger. Go into, armpits. Oh, I'm gonna tell this person, hey, maybe you're not realizing it, but you're a lot of scent coming from your under armpits. It's a strange thing to say to someone, for sure, because you don't wanna. It has to be sensitive, right? And it's hard to be sensitive because the anger is coming out, right? Because why are we saying that to them? Well, because we're angry. It's bothering us that it smells. Therefore, I'm going to tell you, right? I'm angry already, and now I'm going to tell you that what you should be doing, right? So he's saying before that anger, don't get angry, get more in tune with what is angering you, and then address that. Yeah, I mean I like it. A lot of times we go very fast to that anger, it's like event anger, and now we're venting someplace, right? I mean, we're not actually addressing the issue that caused the anger in the first place.
Yeah. You want to read, Ryan?
Mm-hmm.
"The person sitting next to you on the plane, the one who is loudly chattering and knocking around in your space, the one you're grinding your teeth about, hating from the depth of your soul because they're rude, ignorant, obnoxious. In these situations, you might feel it takes everything you have to restrain yourself from murdering them. It's funny how that thought comes into our heads before, politely asking them to stop, or making the minor scene of asking for a different seat. We'd rather be pissed off, bitter, raging inside than risk an awkward conversation that might actually help this person and make the world a better place. We don't just want people to be better, we expect it to magically happen, that we can simply will other people to change, burning holes into their skull with our angry stare. Although when you think about it that way, it makes you wonder who the rude one actually is." Yeah, so I guess he's also talking about, there's a lot of times that we are having an angry reaction to something, but we swallow it and we don't say anything at all. We just start like passive aggressive about something.
Yeah.
Or
Yeah, I really am trying to not do that. You know, like I'm like that's why I get in trouble a bunch of times because I actually speak up, and people are like their reaction for me speaking up is like they get all, you know. I was like, hey, all right, hey, no, I wasn't angry. I was just calling something out, but that angers people sometimes, right? Because it's like because people don't do it. Yeah.
well, also what you were saying, like it needs to be very sensitive.
Very sensitive, right.
Like
And
there can't be any hint of your anger or your frustration or
Right.
your irritation in there, because that is the thing that someone else will.
Right, and many
mirror.
people ultimately ends up not calling it out. There's something bothering them, and then they sit there, and it's bothering them and bothering them and bothering them, and now they're pissed off, and now they're saying something, right? Like they get
because-
themselves to go way too far into the anger, and now they're like their reaction to what you're doing, aka I'm just speaking with someone, right? And on the plane, right? But maybe that's too loud for somebody. But we're having a good conversation. Nobody else is complaining. Everybody else is around is fine. And all of a sudden you have a person who's like, well, that's way too, like, can you guys keep it down? Like, that's way too loud, right? Like somebody comes up like that and we're like, what? Like, where did this come from? Where did it wasn't like, oh, hey guys, you know, I'm trying to read book here. Could you guys keep it down for, you know, just a little bit? You know, keep going. I love that you guys are having conversation. Like, that's different than somebody's just like, well, that's just making me mad. You guys are so loud, right? Like, oh no, you waited. You were waiting there. You were baking on it for a while, and now you just couldn't hold it anymore, and now you step forward. But now it's coming with anger and the request. So it doesn't sound like a request. It sounds like all of a sudden almost like a demand or something. And then the people who are oblivious of it are confused from, why is this person angry at us? We were just talking, right? So it's this self perpetuating kind of issue on top of an issue. But yeah, it's good to understand it, that when someone actually comes and says something that it bothers them, but they're a little angry, it's good to know that so my reaction back to it could be like, oh, this has probably been going for a while. You know what? I'm sorry. We didn't realize how loud we were, or something like. So I'm helping them to also calm down, not escalate it, right? So it's like, oh, they stepped up to the plate. I gotta respect that, right? Like I'm gonna admire that in the other person, that they said, hey, this is bothering me. Like that's a celebration. Like great, you know. So yeah,
even if they are angry.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Any of it. Yeah, they're
Because the
speaking
thing
up.
is like,
because they got angry afterwards, right? Something bothers them, and then they get angry. It's not they get angry and then something bothers them. No, it's.
Right.
Yeah, it has its own steps, right? They just maybe waited too long with the anger and just sat there.
But I don't even know if it's like them waiting too long. I think it's just like, because it could something happens, and then you could have an internal reaction that's just a little bit bothered by something, and you can address it then. But I think that's not what most people have. Most people have something triggers them, and their anger spikes up to like a 7 or an 8 right away. And now the anger is at a 7 or an 8, and you don't want to express this because you're like, I'm going to be calling somebody an asshole.
So you're trying to say that there are more than once how people react. Okay, yeah, I understand that.
Sure.
Yeah, if somebody, I'm not talking about the ones who like something happens and they're instantly are angry, because that's
I think that happens to a lot of us.
yes, but that's
some point.
that's harder that's harder for the person to then go try to help them, because they're kind of like, well, you didn't even give it a, like, like there just wasn't. It's just different. Like my experience, what I was explaining is it happened on the airplane. So I'm explaining a specific scenario that has happened, right? So I'm saying that's what happened. So this person, because I've been talking to this other person on the plane for maybe an hour, but this person didn't say anything for 45 minutes. So my thing is, oh, this must have bothered them way back then, but they were holding on to it. They didn't say anything. They were just like, I let it go, I let it go, I let it go. And then they said something. And when they said something, it had this undertone of like, I'm super annoyed by this because you guys been doing this for 45 minutes. And we're like, yeah, but no one said anything. And we didn't even realize that this is loud at all. We're just having a conversation about something.
And then I think there are other times, and maybe even
saying,
that situation.
So you're saying, and there are other people who don't hold on to it. They instantly get angry. They get instantly triggered.
But I'm not even saying that they instantly say something about it. I'm saying that the annoyance of something or the anger of something gets immediately aroused in them. It's not like it crescendos up from a very low place. It starts out.
No, I'm not saying that the anger is crescendoing, is increasing. I'm saying them addressing it is the time that they're waiting.
Yeah.
They're angry and they're sitting in anger, right? But they can deal with it, anger. They're saying, I can deal with it. It's okay. I'm not gonna say anything because it's embarrassing to say something.
That's fine. And I'm not arguing against your point.
Because you said no. I'm sorry. Okay. I'm hearing what you're saying, and I said something. I had said my story, and you're like, no, that's not how people usually are. People are like this, and I'm saying, well, no, this definitely happened 100%. So like, if you're saying no to it, that means like I'm not understanding what the no was for. I see. So you're just saying, and there are also other people who are doing things differently than what my experience was. Okay, I hear you on that.
Yeah, sorry, I didn't mean to say no.
Okay, because you were kind of saying like that's not how it is. It's like this.
I'm really just trying to express one point like this whole time, that it's not against your point. It's like to the side of your point or something. And the thing that I'm trying to express is that when anger gets aroused, it usually happens very fast, and it can stop us from addressing something because the way it comes up in the system is already in this overwhelming sort of thing, and we realize that it's an overreaction to this situation, and we don't have the tools to say, let me translate this into something more sensitive that I can say to this person. So now I'm waiting 45 minutes on a flight to say that this volume is bothering me until it just bubbles over to the point that I can't control it anymore. But why did I wait that 45 minutes? Because at the minute one, when I first got it, it already came as like this overwhelming sort of asshole kind of angry response internally and I didn't know how to.
You don't want to be the asshole, so you're saying, oh, I don't want to. If I say something right now, my anger is going to show, so I don't want to do that. I'm going to wait until I calm down or something, and then I'll do that.
But then it builds up, and then it's like, fuck, like this isn't working, like that's
not my
so
experience that it comes down on its own or something, and then you come up with something. So no.
Well, no, it's wishful thinking. It's just like, I don't know what, so maybe
you
I'll
hear
leave
it.
alone.
It's you're just mad, and then the longer you wait, the more mad you will be. And so that's how I'm seeing it. So I'm like, the quicker people say that, the better, because then you're actually helping the situation instead of sitting over there in your brewing in your pissed offness and nobody knows about it. Nobody knows what's pissing you off, but you're assuming we should all stop doing what's pissing you off without you saying one word about it. Like, no, that's not how that works. Yes. But yes, there are all kinds of people. And those mechanisms of anger and trying to approach and getting your issue resolved. There are many different ways of how to do it, and there are all kinds of people out there, and there are all kinds of people who are all kinds of ways, right? Depending on what it is, right? Like, you know, like somebody may just have a headache during that time. Otherwise, that loud speech wouldn't necessarily anger them during that time, right? And so, but because they have a headache, this is angering them right now. So it's, we just have to speak up for what's going on in us right now, right? Otherwise, we're just kind of putting ourselves on the back burner, and that's never a good strategy there. So anyway, good seeing you all. Have a good one.
See you tomorrow.
Bye bye.